welcome to Overbrook School for the Blind and the Eastern Region Schools for the Blind Music Festival, Music is Our Vision. At this time, we kindly ask that you silence all phones and refrain from taking any flash photography as it can be distracting to our students. At moments during Act 1, there will be a pause to reset instruments on stage, and there will be one 30-minute intermission. And now, please welcome to the podium the Executive Director of Overbrook School for the Blind, Mr. Gerald Kitzhofer.
Thank you. On behalf of Overbrook School for the Blind's Board of Trustees, our staff, and most of all our students, it is truly my pleasure to welcome you to our school as we are truly honored to host the 2014 Eastern Schools for the Blind Music Festival. I'm delighted to have our school host this event and would like to take a moment to thank the sponsors who have helped to bring this event to life. The Murphy Blatt family is tonight's presenting soloist sponsor, and they made a special gift in memory of M. Christine Murphy. Christine was a real friend and passionate advocate for our school and for our students. We're lucky to have her husband, Sid Rosenblatt, on our Board of Trustees, and this festival is another chance to keep Christine's memory closely linked with the school that she loved so dear. Please give a round of applause in Christine's name. I'd also like to thank Russell Roofing for their support tonight, as well as Elizabeth H. Gemmel, KPMG, Powers Craft Parker and Beard, Armstrong Doyle and Carroll, Pennsylvania Trust and Carol Wyeth, a member of our development committee. This festival would also not have been possible without the support of our friends at the Addis Group, Aqua America, Bob D'Angelo, an Overbrook board member and former board president, as well as Beneficial Bank, Mainline Health, the Overbrook Parents Group, known as PERC, our board president, Rick Wheeler, and a pair of very special Overbrook alums, Richard Fiddler, class of '59, in memory of his father, Wilbur Fiddler, and lastly, Joanne Davidoff, class of 1950. I hope you will join me in giving all of tonight's sponsor a warm round of applause, as well as our Board of Trustees who support our comprehensive services through their board work. Please join me. Finally, everyone, I'd like to thank the schools, all these schools you see here, who provide the backbone of tonight's melodies and rhythms. It is an amazing feat to host a music festival like this, especially in a climate where so many schools are forced to cut, or worse, eliminate their music and fine arts departments. And speaking of fine arts, our resident artist and teacher, Lee Schultz, and her colleagues at our sister schools here at the concert have a wonderful display out in the lobby, and we hope you get to see some of that artwork at intermission time. You know, what's clear tonight is that each and every one of our schools participating in this concert values the arts as a means to connect our students more deeply to the world around them and to open them to new ways of seeing, which ties in perfectly with tonight's theme on the front of your program, Music is Our Vision. Enjoy the show, folks. Believe me, it's going to be great. And now, it's really, truly my pleasure to introduce you to the gentleman sitting here to my right, Mr. Dan Simpson. Now, Dan's main claim to fame, well, maybe not main claim to fame, but one of his claims to fame is that he was a student at Overbrook for 10 years, from 1956 to 66. Dan and his identical twin brother Dave were born blind in Williamsburg, Pennsylvania in 1952. After attending the Overbrook School for the Blind through 8th grade, Dan became one of the first blind students in Chester County to go to a public school. He earned a Bachelor of Arts in English and Music from Muhlenberg College, where he graduated summa cum laude and was the class salutatorian. After receiving a master's degree in music and organ performance from Westminster Choir College, where he had the opportunity to sing with major symphony orchestras, Dan traveled to Paris for a year of private study with the world-renowned blind organist, I'll probably mess up this name, Dan, André Marchal, thank you. Since then, he has worked as a church musician, computer programmer, and high school English teacher, earning a Master of Arts in English and a teaching certificate from the University of Pennsylvania along the way. A recipient of the Fellowship in Literature from the Pennsylvania Council of the Arts, Dan has had his poems and essays published in numerous literary magazines, as well as the critically acclaimed anthology, Beauty is a Verb, The New Poetry of Disability, now in its second printing and also used as a textbook in colleges and universities throughout the U.S. and also other countries. In 2007, Dan and his brother released a CD of their poetry entitled Audio Chapbook. School for the Blind, a collection of his poetry, is slated for publication this summer. Please make sure you see that. Currently at work on a memoir, Dan sings with the Mendelssohn Club of Philadelphia, and with his brother performs programs that combine their creative writing with original arrangements for voice and four-hand piano, the music they grew up with, to tell the story of their development as artists. Please, please join me in welcoming our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Dan Simpson. Dan?
Well, thank you so much, Sherry, for that wonderful introduction, and thank you all for being here. What a treat this is. I was able to come by for some of the rehearsing this afternoon, and I can tell you we are in for a great evening. And my job, I guess really my privilege, is that I will kind of guide us along the way. I heard one cell phone after the announcement, so I just thought I would. Sometimes that's been mine. I got mine off this time, so I'm feeling like I'm in a good position to say, oh, please turn those off. We're delighted that you're here, so just sit back and relax and enjoy. And I will mention that I want to first of all mention that we have two sign language interpreters just to my left. They call themselves Team Brandy. And Brandy Mazik and Brandy Chitta. And I'm actually going to check. I'm not sure if maybe you have to be named Brandy to get an interpreting job in Philadelphia. That's the rumor that I'm starting anyway. So we're delighted that they're here. Thank you. And want to mention too, there's going to be a change in the order in the program. Right now in your program, the band performance is listed first, but we're switching that with the bell choir because the staging and the logistics of getting the bell tables up and down. So we're going to start with bell choir, these handbell choirs. And we're going to start with the piece performed by the Perkins Handbell Choir, a piece entitled Spanish Dance. It's an original composition by Kevin McChesney, who's a true handbell devotee. He has composed or arranged more than 400 original works or made arrangements for handbells. In this piece, Spanish Dance, there's a rhythmic figure that's played by mallets that's a dominant sort of underpinning throughout the whole piece. And it's reminiscent of the strum of a classical Spanish guitar. And this composer knows something about that because he's a proficient player of Spanish guitar. And above that, you'll hear this wonderful flowing melody. So we get to start off with some handbell music, and I would like you to welcome warmly their conductor, Vera Jamova, and the Perkins School Handbell Choir. I've heard handbells for a lot of years, but never anything quite like that. I almost felt like I was in a Spanish cafe somewhere. The next piece is one that probably everybody will recognize, the Ode to Joy from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, the last movement. The first half of this arrangement is a straightforward statement of the melody, and that will be followed in the second half by a variation. We're going to hear things heat up a little bit with a lot more florid writing in the upper bells. And this is going to be performed for us by the Overbrook Bell Choir under the direction of Jim Palmer. Let's give them a warm welcome. so much. Well, you know, I remember back in the old age, in the 60s, we had these Eastern states get-togethers both for music and for sporting events. And I know the music events dropped off for a while and then were revitalized in the early 90s. And it's so great that everybody can come together. The sports events are great too. And it's kind of cool to think that some of the people who are going to be playing together on this and singing together in these performances tonight probably wrestled against each other or played some other sport, beat ball against each other. But the great thing about art is it also brings us together. And we're going to have the first combination of artists tonight. This is a piece that's going to be performed by Overbrook and Perkins choirs, combined the handbell choirs. It's called Accolade. It's by Kathleen Wissinger. It's an original composition for handbells as opposed to an arrangement for them. And you'll hear it show off the wonderful sonorities of these bells through the use of both large chords and flowing scales. And you know, we heard this amazing technique with the strumming of the guitar in the Spanish dance. You're going to get to hear a few other interesting ringing techniques in this piece, including an echo ring and a tremolo sound that's created by shaking the bells. So let's take a listen to the combined Overbrook and Perkins choir in Accolade.